Here we go.
Welcome to Giants Training Camp Report. I'm Anita Marks here with a special edition, actually, because we've got linebacker, the Carl Banks, joining us for the Training Camp Report. Carl, welcome. First and foremost, you've been out to a few practices. What are some of the really interesting storylines you're keeping your eye on this season?
Well, I think you look at where there were voids, and obviously the linebacker position is one that you have to keep your eye on. The tight end position with the loss of Kevin Boss. And then the offensive line in general. They were a very close-knit group. Now they have some new additions, if you will.
Absolutely, and keep in mind, practice was moved from 6 to 1:30 this afternoon. Head coach Tom Coughlin addressed the media, said the main reason he wanted his men to practice in the heat.
Yeah, it's the reason is that if you're going to play in the North Atlantic, we're going to practice in the North Atlantic. So that's all. The real reason was the objectivity. We've had 9 practices. I think they've had few issues at all from a weather standpoint. So we'll go twice, in the heat of the day, and then we'll decide next week whether we're going to do the same thing. But, football has to train in the heat, and so we'll train in the heat.
Carl, talk about the significance of practicing in the heat during training camp so that you're ready for regular season game 1.
Well, without a real off-season program, the coaches wanted to guard against early hamstring pulls. Now they've had a week and a half to get acclimated to their bodies to football again. Now it's time to turn up the heat, literally, to get the guys' bodies and their endurance levels up so that they can prepare to play in the heat.
Absolutely. Earlier today, running back coach Gerald Ingram addressed the media. He talked about Ahmad Bradshaw's fumbling issues last season and what he needs to do this year to correct it.
You try to become a playmaker and you start to forget about the ball at times. A lot of his fumbles were trying to make things out of the box. And that's something, he has to work on this year, having closure on the ball and just making, paying more attention to taking care of the ball. His style of run, kind of just like Adrian Peterson's the year before, that became his goal, and he was able to lessen that. So, we all have something that we have to work on every year and prove, and that's one of the things he's got to prove this year, that he can take care of the team as well as the ball.
Interesting, he said Ahmad Bradshaw's fumbling issues happened when he was, quote-unquote, out of the box, so linebackers like you getting a little slap happy on the ball.
Well, absolutely. When running backs normally break through the line of scrimmage, that's when they're least concerned with ball protection and more speed. So they want to protect through the line, get through, and then they open up. And most linebackers are taught when they get through there, try to stop the ball out.
A lot of new faces on the offensive line. Left tackle is Will Beattie's position to lose, but with David Deal at left guard, it's evident, Carl, he's got his back and he's going to help him succeed.
It's working well, obviously, being around him the last 2 years and, talking with him and going through film with him and all that stuff has helped. And I think the fact that I play tackle can obviously help him, because I can see things at guard that I saw at tackle. So, I can communicate with him, and also, you see him stepping up. This is his opportunity to play, and he's working extremely hard, learning from Coach Flaherty, going through the techniques and moving forward. And I think, like I said, I think, the more we work, the better we're going to get, and I have no doubts we're going to be ready.
Carl, no Sean O'Hara, no Rich Soybert, a lot of new faces on this offensive line, like I said. What are you anticipating? What are your expectations for this offensive line this season?
Well, the good news, Will Beattie got a lot of experience for the last year and a half, so he should be ready to ascend into a starter role. Now, trust is a big key because that unit was together for so long, but Will should be the least of their concerns in terms of what his responsibilities are. It comes down to performance, though.
From the offensive line to tight end, you've got Travis Beckham and Bear Pascal now playing that position with the loss of Kevin Boss. Tight end coach Mike Pope explained what the disadvantages and obstacles are going to be for Travis Beckham.
He's disadvantaged because he weighs about 235 pounds, and most of all the guys he's going to block at that position. His effort's going to be there. He's going to try, but the laws of science come into play. The bigger masses generally over a period of 3-hour game is going to win. So he would wear down. It isn't our plan to use him that on a regular basis like we might use a regular tight end. We will have to involve him there. We can't put a flag up that every time he runs in the game it's going to be a pass. So obviously he has, and he has done that for us. He did that last year for us. He blocked probably a little bit more from a space position, which is where he played in college, and what his size. Hell, his wide receivers in this game almost his size. So we have to be smart in the way that we employ him, and we can't ask him to do things he can't physically do.
At tight end, Carl, size of Travis Beckham a disadvantage. How do you see that playing out?
Well, I don't know if it's the size of the tight end or the effort of the tight end. There have been some great undersized tight ends that were not one-dimensional guys like Shannon Sharpe. So what Travis is going to have to do is embrace the role. Number one, become a consistent pass catcher, but he's got to give good effort in the run game because they're going to need his production in both areas in order to have a successful offense.
Now, do you see the Giants making any maybe additional roster moves before camp is over?
Well, it's early to say because we haven't played a preseason game yet, but once the Giants evaluate after probably the first preseason game, they'll look and see exactly what they have at that position.
Well, we're going to continue to watch practice. Meanwhile, I'm going to have to protect you because I heard Dominic Hickson almost ran you over a few
I
minutes
hope he's okay. I mean, he's coming off an injury. I had to let him kind of push me back a little bit.
Is that what happened?
I didn't want to hurt the guy.
You were
He
there
just
to
came
protect
back.
him.
He spent a year on IR.
He's Carl Banks. I'm Anita Marks. Thank you so much for tuning in today's Giants Training Camp Report here on Giants.com.
Here we go.